You had to work through some issues, Matthew, like centre clearances, conceding inside 50. So how did you unlock it? How did you then score big like you did?
Yeah, we had some issues going into half time. We were reasonably confident we knew what it was that was causing those issues. So it was a matter of fixing those, which was the contest, because we were getting beaten up inside and probably pulled apart a little bit around stoppage, especially centre bounce. So that's the game. That's where it starts and ends. It sends you into your back half, and we weren't getting the contest done then when we were coming out of our back 50. So it was I'm not saying a simple fix, but we knew what the issue was. So we went to work on that at half time, and to the boys' credit, they responded in that second half. Probably took us 2 or 3, 4 minutes to get going, but we responded, and the second half numbers flipped on their head. So really pleasing.
Surprising that there would be that issue when it's become seemingly ingrained, what we've seen recently in your group?
No, not when we look at the opposition we're up against. You know, an elite ruckman and some really high-end on-ballers who were playing at their best, and we were allowing a bit of that with respect. But they were playing great footy, and we were reactive and pulled apart a little. And part of our learn, I thought our guys worked their way through it, but I think it was we were minus 10 or thereabouts at CB in the second quarter, and so that, unfortunately, that's far too long for that to play out. But in saying that, we go in a couple of kicks down or thereabouts. We felt confident that, you know, even with our game not at the level it needed to be, we could turn that around. And as I said, then from that point on, the most pleasing part is to see some of the performances from some of our guys, you know, like Chase Jones, the way he finished off that last quarter, Harry Schoenberg, you know, really satisfying to see the reward he's getting for the hard work. Phil Thorpe, Riley, I felt looked, again, like the speed of the game's now well and truly in his grasp. He's right there, if not ahead of it. And others. I thought Worrell again behind the ball was a really good step in the right direction. So, Jake Saligo, we got in on ball second half, made a difference in around the footy for us. Sam Berry had a role on a very important player for the Oppo in Davies Uniacke. But, really pleasing, the response.
I was just about to say, talk me through the Davies Uniacke sort of decision-making process, because he's obviously had a huge impact in the first half.
Yeah.
Berry, I think, kept it to 1 in the last quarter when the game was on the line. Can you just talk me through that whole process of whether to put a hard tag on or not early on?
Yeah, that decision was left through the first half. You know, we look at our team a lot. We back our team in to get the job done. There are often opponents for that we come up against that are accumulating a lot of footy. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's hurting you as a team. This one was, he was outstanding in that second quarter, especially, and we found it really hard to stop. It was penetrating, shoulders out, running forward out of stoppage that was killing us. And he was a big part of that. He's a great footballer. He's hard to stop when he's going, but we made the decision at the break to do what we could in around that. We had other things we wanted to try and get done as a team to stop that in the first half, and that didn't work, unfortunately. We'll look at that and review it, but Sam Berry, was a really important role that he was able to get done in that second half, especially the second half of the third and the last quarter.
Is McAdam what it looks like?
Yeah, we think that might be a hamstring, unfortunately. And so for Shane, that's really, really disappointing, because his form's been so strong, so consistent for us. But again, we're not 100% sure, but it seems like a hammy up pretty high.
The ability to score like you have to get past that 100.
Yeah.
What's changed there? Because it was one time a big task ahead of you. So where's that come good? Is it about the talent in front of it, or what else is there happening there for you?
No, it's the 18. It's the 22, really. It's full team defence. We've actually, if you look at the last 6 or 7 weeks, we've got our intercept score back. So our ability to get the ball back off the oppo and go and score, and that's the stat that stands up. That's that'll win you premierships. Scoring from stoppage is something that's pretty hard to see out through the whole year. Teams are able to stop that, but our intercept scores got back to where we need it. We scored, I think, 9 goals, 9-4 or thereabouts today, and we've been ticking those numbers now for a good month and a half, and that's giving us some really good results off the back of that. That's full ground, that's 18-man, defence. Playing the game in our front half, forcing the opposition under pressure in those areas and being able to turn it over in those areas. So that's an area we've worked on, as well as our ball movement, because it is ball movement off of that as well. And as you mentioned, there's also Darcy Fogarty ahead of the ball, who's really taken his game to another level, and the impact he has. Shane McAdam, when he's up and going, even with Taylor Walker the last couple of weeks, hasn't been at his best, plays an really important role for us down there. But with these other younger guys stepping up, it's helped us in that area.
If I can take you to next week, when you were tearing it up for Sydney, so you wouldn't know what was going on here when we had the start of the showdown, there'd be the debate, should it be the last game of the year, should it not be the last game of the year, and we flip-flop. How do you feel about it ending a season on a derby?
I'd love it. I'd love to not be ending the season on it, to be honest. I'd love to be leading into finals. It's not this year for us, but I love the fact that we've got a showdown coming up this week. I also know what a showdown is. I was born in SA, so I was watching them even when I wasn't here, Rooch. But what a fantastic way to finish a minor round. I think both teams would love to be going into the finals, but there'll be a bit around this one. They've still got to play this week, so we'll have a good look at them tomorrow, and then we'll be chomping at the bit to get out there.
Would it be staggering that you could be playing to see who ranks higher?
No.
You've been big on not being judged by wins alone this year, but you've surpassed last year's win total. That must be a nice signpost to have in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, it is. Look, it's a nice reward for where we're at. I think it's the more important part is the footy we've been playing is the bit that we look at. And some of the guys I mentioned, where you look at the development, the guys are out there now playing in the SAMFL, and we've got some great results, down at that level as well, where those guys will be going into finals footy after next week. And so that's the most pleasing part for us is really the consistency of our full squad across the year. Hasn't been results at times when we would have loved to have got across the line. There are games we've dropped this year that may have had us knocking, but overall we're looking to play a brand of footy that people walk out, and they've enjoyed watching, and they're satisfied with what the boys have put out on the park. We've done that a lot this year, especially over the last month.
Is there anything to add to that? In the sense we know what your DNA is and all that, but adding to that game to make people want to watch, not just your people, but other people want to watch. Do you think there's anything to add to that still?
I think when you win games of footy, Rooch, I think people want to watch. They enjoy close games of footy. We play in a lot of close games of footy at this point. We'd love them not to be quite that close. But they will be going forward. I think that's what our code's done really well, is they've got a competition that's so even across the board. So you're playing against the bottom side or you're playing against the top side. The games are, they can be won and lost in a 2 or 3 minute period. We saw that last night in the game of footy, where Brisbane were able to get over the line, but there were times where the Saints were coming. So from our point of view, we just want to keep playing footy that entertains. And I believe we're doing that. Our players enjoy the way we play. As I've said before, we're not playing finals this year, and we're disappointed we're not, but we're excited about the future, and we're developing well. We're playing a finals brand. We strongly believe that. So we'll continue to play that way.
Do you see Phil Thorpe's long-term as a forward that rucks or a ruck that is a forward?
I don't know yet. I don't know, and I'm not sure Riley does. But he continues to develop as a target, which is the most pleasing part. I would have said 2 months ago, I think Riley might be a ruckman. His best football has been up around the ruck, but that's where he's played a lot of junior footy. What he has worked on, with a number of others helping him out, both on and off field, is that ability to compete ahead of the footy. And that's the part that takes a lot longer, because there's a lot more pressure on you in that. There's someone playing on you every step of the way. So I thought today was a huge step. It showed, I thought some of his best footy today was in the contest ahead of the ball, where he jumped at it. He moves off ball like a 185 centimetre player. He's got amazing hands below his knees, and so there's a fair bit that he brings to the game. He's going to have his ups and downs though going forward. He's a young key forward, ruck. I haven't answered your question at all because I don't know, but we were all really pleased to see the way he played today.
Matthew, does that game, particularly what you saw, that centre clearance stuff, that just reaffirm or tell you anything you didn't already know that list management's got to deal with in October, November for what you get for the midfield next year?
No, it doesn't. I didn't think of list management at all in those moments. I looked at an opposition that were playing very well, and
no, but I mean bigger picture. I mean,
of course we'll continue. Yeah, we'll continue to improve our list, and we'll be looking, as most teams in the competition will be, at midfielders and powerful players that can play ahead of the ball and hit the scoreboard. And we're not hiding from the fact that midfield is an important part of the game. We'll continue to try to add to that, but we couldn't be more pleased. I mentioned the names. Sam Berry was a player who stood up today, who's, he's just arrived at the footy club, and Saligo the same. Schoenberg's been here for a short period of time. These guys are still developing. There's so much more upside in them. Laird's coming off a 200th, where I thought he was rock solid today once we got our game going, and the rest were standing up. So I think I'll probably look at it from the other point of view and say I thought we turned it around really well today when they were coming hard. We were able to get it back on our terms.
Just a word on Fogarty. I mean, he just looks to be playing with so much confidence.
Yeah, belief in himself, confidence, as you mentioned. He's got his teammates now that know what he does well. So there's this connection there and a belief in each other. And I'm not saying it wasn't there before, but it comes through playing footy together for longer. When you're kicking the ball to someone regularly, there's a connection. And so that's building as well. Not only is Fogg's confidence in himself there, but all his teammates at the moment are just backing him in. Just put the ball in an area where we know he's got some weapons and he gets the job done. But a lot of work's gone into that, a lot of work, and rewards now coming, which is well deserved.
So is this young man who grew up in South Australia and spent a lot of time at Alberton, do you care what the other mob wear in a showdown?
I'd prefer not to comment around that one.
You just don't have any thought on it?
No, none. Don't bother me.
Really?
No.
You don't, even though it's one of the biggest debating points?
As long as they're not wearing red, yellow and blue, I'm okay.
Okay.
Miller, late patrol. What was the go there?
Yeah, sort of lower back for Junior. He tried, and we thought about it towards the end, and then today we just couldn't take a risk. We gave him right up till the last minute. He pulled up a little sore from the captain's run, and we thought, he'll be okay. But it was one where his progress has been amazing the last month, and so we didn't want to take any risk with that at all. And it was just back stiffness. So I just saw him after the game. He's going to rest up over the next few days and try and get himself right.
Do you expect him to play next week, or?
We'd like him to be right to go. And we'd be reasonably confident with that because we didn't take any chances today.